Hello everyone, welcome to Dark Fae Tarot. You're joining me on the end of another wintry day in Brussels. Welcome to new subscribers. Welcome back to those who already know me. So this is my rundown of decks that I used in 2023. I've decided to go through all of them. So we're looking at about 50 decks. So you're gonna have to bear with me. This might be a bit of a long video. And this is specifically decks I work with. It's not necessarily decks that are new to my collection. It's just ones that I've taken out and either studied, reviewed, done daily draws, done week ahead draws, have read for others using them, and yeah, and just gone through the seasons with these decks. So I'm going to be showing them in the way that I work with them from January to December. Hopefully that makes sense. And as much as possible, I'm going to try and pair them the way they were paired where possible as well. So all of that hopefully makes sense. We're about a minute in, so let's go for it. The very first deck that I want to show you is the Witch's Familiar Oracle cards. This is by Barbara Michael John Free and Flavia Kate Peters. Illustrator is Kate Osborne. I love this deck. There's something about this which is very haunting, very surreal. It's photo collage, surreal work. I don't know how else to put it. I've shown their decks quite often. I've got their Witch's Familiar, I've got their Moon deck. But this is the deck that sticks. This is the one that I just come back to again and again. I love the other decks. The messages are fantastic. I think I began with the Witch's Wisdom. But this one, when it came in, there's something about this spirit, animal spirit energy, which I just fell in love with. There's also other kinds of spirits in here as well. There's like goblins and so forth and fays. But it's really like this deck that I really kind of like just really fell in love with. And you know, it is a very interesting oracle. I like the writers. I like the way they go about explaining the messages. Look at that beautiful gilding. You know, it's a very nice high quality deck. I really enjoy it. And at one point I need to do a whole video on all of their decks because I think I've got pretty much all of them now. Okay, so that's the Witch's Familiar. In January I worked with the Tarot Nuages by Needleman. This was daily draws. So this deck is Marseille based. It's very pippish in that style, but I love it. That's what I like about it. As a Marseille deck, it really just ticks all the boxes for me. And one of the things that I really like about this deck is this kind of like sepia tones, these colors, the simplicity of the cards. And I'm showing you like this. Here's a Page of Swords because I'm going to show you what I paired it with. So I paired this deck with, I'm going to have to move that away, with The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein and Super Attractor by Gabby Bernstein. So why these decks? Right, so basically I wanted decks that were very airy. They were decks that are not cluttered in how they look. And being at January, I like decks which are not fussy, to be very honest with you. January is the kind of month, I think for many of us, or maybe for me, that I've got a lot going on in terms of projects, in terms of things that are kicking off. These are the backs before I forget. Things that are kicking off. It's just, you know, all that stuff that we've kind of like pushed aside. December comes back right in January, and I find it a month where I just really don't want stuff which is overly fussy. So working with a Marseille style deck and affirmations, it's not like I'm really going to have to do some kind of deep dive study, and that's how I feel about January. It's just keeping it simple and staying abreast with what I need to. I love that moon symbol. I love the fact that this is the High Priestess. And this is about, you know, faith in the universe. There's something about this that this is about patience. And this is about, yeah, it's just about having fun, letting go. And here's the Nine of Wands. So there's a lot to work with when we put them together. But I just like the simplicity of these decks. I think Needleman's work is really excellent. And he's also done a Lenormand. It's called Malefic, I think. Yeah, Malefic Lenormand. So his tarot deck, this is the tarot deck, is by US Games, and so is the Lenormand. Very easy to get hold of, very affordable in that sense, and I would definitely recommend them. And I recommend also an affirmative. I just really like affirmation decks, especially in January. And I'm not really a resolution kind of person. I don't start doing resolutions and lists of everything that I'm going to achieve in like 5 minutes after the 1st of January or something like that. I like to keep it very, very simple. I believe that, you know, the commitments that we have, the things that we're going through, all of that is still very much alive from December. So I just like to keep January as simple as possible. You've seen I've made a mess of putting that back, but that's okay. Okay, so that's the Tarot Nuages by Needleman, and also with the Super Attractor and the Universe Has Your Back. So we keep going, which is what I used in February. In February, I worked with The Murder of Crows by Corrado Roy and Journey of a Lonely Soul, Oracle cards. The guidebooks for these are both by Charles Harrington. So it's very, very straightforward in terms of energies and messages, very similar in that sense. And the artist for Journey of a Lonely Soul is, just give me a moment, I'll find them. Here they are, Anna Maj Boroda. So I really, really loved working with these decks. I think I've done a lot of reviews and discussions on them, so I'm not going to say too much. Title card always shows up when I don't need it to. But yeah, I just really enjoyed working with these decks. I love the images. I love how they play together. I like the fact that it really reminds me of, you know, where I live, because that is kind of like, I'm sorry to say, but in January, it's gloomy here. Like November, December, January, February, we can really be like without sunlight for a very long time. And these decks really just tap into that energy. They really are good at locking into that kind of like feeling of dark energy. So anyway, I really enjoyed working with these. I got a lot from the guidebooks. I really recommend them if you want a guidebook with some prompts and some journaling. And this deck, yeah, I mean, people underestimate the guidebook on low Scarabeo decks. I think in the past it wasn't great, but I think that they've really stepped up in the last few years. I've bought quite a few decks by low Scarabeo recently, which have excellent guidebooks. So really impressed with that as well. And that is Murder of Crows and Journey of a Lonely Soul. So we're still in the winter of 2023. February, Star Dragons Oracle cards. Love this deck in February. There's something about February that always brings me into like dragon energy, universe, cosmos, that kind of energy. And just look at these cards. They're beautiful. I love the way, again, that this fantasy art picks up different colors. I like the guidebook to this because the guidebook is very succinct. It's not very long, to be quite honest with you. It's Paola Barberi, who is the creator. I think you can get this for under 20 still, hopefully. The only fuss I have about this deck and the Paola Barberi decks is there's just not enough cards. That really does get on my nerves. I think that we need decks with more than like 33 cards. But look, you know, I've enjoyed working with this. And you're going to see more of the Paola Barberi cards because they will appear again later in the year, other decks by this creator. I don't have the Dante Oracle cards yet, but they're definitely going to be coming into my collection. So we're still in the winter, and let's look at March, because this is like coming to the end of winter. Tarot Vintage, this is the RWS, drawings by Pamela Coleman Smith, and the guidebook for this one, the guidebook for this one is Sasha Graham, just so you're aware. And I paired this with, now this is going to be awesome, I paired this with all of these Llewellyn Darcy decks. Yeah, we're going to look at all of them. Let's begin with the Flowers of the Night Oracle. This is a rock pool deck. I believe all of hers is rock pool. Absolutely loved putting these two together. I just had so much fun. Let me just move that out of the way. There you go. So I had just so much fun putting these two together. Look at those images. There is a magic with these two decks, with Llewellyn Darcy's work and the RW's imagery that I love. And I think because this is like a parchment style colors, they especially, I don't know, bounce off each other so well. That's the best way I can put it. The illustrations, there's something that comes very much alive. So I loved working with the Flowers of the Night Oracle. And again, you know, This is like a botanical, I think a Hedwig botanical deck. That's how you would say it. I just really like Llewellyn Darcy's work. So that was the Flowers of the Night Oracle. So the other deck that I work with from this author, this creator, is the Language of Flowers Oracle. Again, once you see the colors pop, you're just going to see it and go, wow. Okay, so let's look at the next card. Page of Wands and Devotion. Just death and wisdom and magnolia. Just, you're going to see it and you're going to be like, wow. Healing and the sun. I find it just so, so awesome. King of Swords and Cleansing. Just beautiful energies. One of my favorite pairings of all time. Ace of Swords and Trust. So I'm going to stop with this pairing because you can see enough already. But I just thought that was magical. It's still to this day my favorite one of my favorite pairings ever. And so that was the Language of Flowers Oracle by Llewellyn Darcy. And then the final one I'll show you with is Australian Wildflower Reading Cards, again by Llewellyn Darcy. Love, love, love this deck. I love this deck in like February, March, April time. Abundance and the Three of Swords. Wow. But there's something there, right, with the imagery. You can see it. Okay, Nine of Wands and Awareness. So, you know, just, again, survival and the Nine of Pentacles. So there's a lot that you can build in terms of a story from these two cards. Great for readings. Peace and the Nine of Cups. I'll stop there again. But, you know, great for readings. Great for creating a storyline. Great for just immersing yourself. And even for meditation. I really love cards like this because they're great to just, you know, sit and meditate with. And I really like the guidebook. So, well, it's a well done deck, actually. Very, very well done. Okay, so that was, again, Llewellyn Darcy. And so we're now into spring. We're really into spring energy. So right at the end of winter, going into spring, here come my knowledge cards by Susan Seddon Boulay. Animal Spirits is one pack and Goddesses is the other pack. If I can get them open. This is pre-existing artwork that was made into oracle cards. You can see the back has the meaning. Susan Seddon Boulay, I think, has sadly passed on. But these cards are still available. I think they're retailing around $10 US right now. Just beautiful, breathtaking artwork. I just cannot say enough about these cards. I love them. So we're going to have to do a lot of moving around with them sometimes. But you can just see they're just gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. Just beautifully done. And you get at the back a little paragraph. So this is Fortuna. Here, this, of course, will be the wolf. There we go. We get symbolism and so forth. I'm not going to go into too much, but these decks for me are just beautiful energies. And there's something about when the light has come back, you know, we're going really towards Ostara, but we've still got a little bit of hanging on of that chill of winter. We've still got that little bit of coldness. That's when, just want to make sure I put them in the right one. So that's the Goddess one. That's when I really like this kind of like cosmic energy, this animal totems energy, because it's really, really pertinent for me, you know, because the way I think about it is that we're coming out of hibernation. And because we're coming out of hibernation, these energies are waking up. It's almost like the flora and the fauna. Look at that. That's beautiful. The flora and the fauna is coming to life. And that's why I really like this, because these have this dark look. And it's almost like emergence from winter. Okay, so that was the Susan Seddon Boulay decks, knowledge cards, goddesses, and animal spirits. So we're now going into spring. We're going into spring now. These are decks that I've kind of like picked up for spring because, yeah, they just worked. So March, Llewellyn Tarot and Botanical Inspirations. Now these decks have been sitting on my bookcase since 2020, and it just, I never thought about putting them together. And then April last year, I passed St. David's Day. St. David's Day is the 1st of March. St. David is the patron saint of Wales. So, of course, Llewellyn Tarot is the Welsh deck. I just thought, I've got to get the Llewellyn deck out again. So it was April. And the Botanical Inspirations is a US Games Oracle by Lynn Araujo. I'm sorry, I don't pronounce the name correctly. Who is also, I understand, an editor at US Games. This is existing artwork by somebody Redoute. It's a Belgian Flemish painter. And this is the Llewellyn Tarot by Anna Marie Ferguson. I'm going to hold these up actually so you get a better look at how beautiful these two go together. Just look how gorgeous that is. Two of Cups and Destiny. Oh, beautiful messages and Camellia. Knight of Cups and affection and termination. Yeah, I mean, just, it's like a marriage in heaven. I would never realize that. The Llewellyn Tarot and Botanical Inspirations, but for me, it's just so beautiful, so romantic, so soft to the touch. I feel like I'm in a beautiful fairy tale, and it's like, take me away. The guidebooks to both of these decks, of course, I'm not going to go into the guidebook right now, but phenomenal. I've done a review, of course, of these two decks. They were under review, so you can find the review on my channel. There is a reviews playlist, and go into that. But I just find that it was just a marriage made in heaven in terms of the colors, those sepia tones again. And there's a softness and energy with these cards, which I just cannot get enough of. I just feel as if when we get to the beginning of a year, or we get into like the winter, and then we go towards the spring and the summer, especially spring energy, I need a softness a little bit. I don't want the full vibrant colors straight in my face. I need it to be calm and slow and soft. Just excuse me one moment while I just shift a few things off the desk, because as you can imagine, I am going through 50, I'm showing 50 decks at the same time, so that's why the desk is really cluttered. Okay, so now I'm going to come back, and we're really going into now strong spring themes. So two decks that I kind of like paired together, and it was just so joyful in spring, is the Gentle Tarot by Mary in the Sky, and L'Oracle des Esprits Guide by Camille Bilotti. I don't know how to pronounce the second name. That's Camille though. And this is a French animal spirits deck. And this, of course, the Gentle Tarot. And wait till you see this. This is just so lush in their beauty together. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely stunning. And let me just make sure I move that out of the way. And this is the Gentle Tarot by Mary in the Sky. Just look at that. So it says here, the mission, and here it is Ace of Pentacles. Just beautiful pairings. Here is, what does that say? I can't read that, sorry. I'm going to go on for now. L'oubli, to forget. And here is a Harvest of Stones. Just beautiful. Le pause, to pause, of course. Nine of Stones. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Just le voir, to look. Strength. Just, yeah, courage. And Six of Cups. Yeah, there's something here that's just so beautiful. Eight of Thunder. And this is, of course, the Komodo dragon, you know, the ancient fire. Just look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Of course, you'd need to, if you, this is about luck and this is judgment. If you were to work with these, of course, you'd need to use Google Translate if you need to, but this is, of course, endurance, and this is the sun. But I just really love this. This is provision, and of course, this is Nine of Cups. And yeah, here's Voyage, and here's Eight of Cups. I really just, I mean, look how they go together. I just loved putting these two together. This Oracle deck with the Gentle Tarot. I just felt like they would go, and I think they did. I think it was beautifully marrying together, and I just really love this deck. I was just saying to Maureen recently, I was like, it's time for me to start using this deck again. It's almost like as soon as it comes to spring, like March, this deck will wake up and say, use me. This is time now. You know, it comes to life. So anyway, I thought I'd show those two. And then after this, we're still in spring, I think. Yeah, we're still in spring. So I think it was in May, I paired Tarot of the Golden Wheel with Soulflower, Plant, Spirit, Animal. No, Soulflower, Plant, Spirit, Oracle. Sorry, by Lisa Estabrook. So these are both mass market, and I loved this pairing. Wait till you see it. Well, wait till I get it out of the box first. So this is the Oracle. This is the tarot deck. Now, this was a revisit. I'd already reviewed this deck, and to be quite honest with you, I was missing it, so I brought it back to life. And I love Tarot of the Golden Wheel. It's very spring and summery, but I believe I sometimes use it all year round because I love it so much. They just work so well together. Here's Boundaries, and here's Seven of Swords. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can just see they just work so well together. Eight of Wands and Self-Heal Responsibility. Judgment comes with the Resonance. Just gorgeous pairings. And here's Death, and here's Vibrance and Bee Balm. Just so good. The Fool with Insight. Five of Wheels and Self-Love. Five of Pentacles, you can see here how beautiful this is. So Eight of Wheels, and here's Sunflower and Confidence. Beautiful pairings, worked so well together. Both are mass market decks. If you want something in watercolor that really goes well together, this is based upon, of course, I think Russian culture, Slavic energy, so and background. So you know that's a very cultural deck for me. And Soulflower, Plant, Spirit, Oracle is very versatile all year round, but it's just this marriage of colors and messages and wording. So beautiful. So I really recommend those two if you are interested in that kind of spring summery energy. So we're still in summer, right? I think no, we're still in spring. Sorry. So make sure I get everything. Okay, yeah. So here are two decks that I used in spring that I loved putting together. So this was used in the background. That's the Muse Tarot by Chris Ann. Hey, these are both Hay House decks. This is the mass market, of course, version, and this is the Spirit Animal Oracle. Jenna Della Cretaglia is the artist. Colette Baron Reed is the writer. Sorry, I'm trying to get my words out right now. So these two decks, I mean, one would never have guessed that they go together, right? But they did. So I used these for my Oracle for the week ahead readings. I wanted to use something from the shelf. I didn't want to buy anything, and they just worked. So this is Six of Swords, and that crossing, and here it says trust in the magic. Just look how beautifully they go together. Look even at the backs. They just are delicious. Page of Materials, Page of Pentacles, and here, lay a solid foundation. I mean, could you get a better message than this? It's just gorgeous. Queen of Emotions, and here act is as if. So this is Queen of Cups, and here's active. And look at the coloring. I mean, it's just like, it's like a marriage, a symphony of colors and images. Knight of Inspiration, so that's Knight of Wands. And here's Fox Spirit, think on your feet. And look at that horse galloping. I mean, it's just beautiful. Nine of Cups here. This feeling of fulfillment, and here's Bat Spirit, a rebirth is assured. Just beautiful energies. If you have these two decks, just marry them and you will see magic happen. Six of Emotions, so of course she's longing for something, and here says Lion Spirit, be generous of spirit. Just, I think there's so much self-compassion here. And here's the Hierophant, and here's be playful. So of course I'm learning, but perhaps it's telling me to not make it so heavy-handed. And here's Temperance, and here Koala Spirit, you know, Spirit has a plan, you know, this trust again. And final one is Justice, and here's Wombat Spirit, be at home. So just amazing pairings. I cannot rave enough about these two together. I think Chris Ann's work is phenomenal because it has this versatility to it. But when we put two Hay House decks together, I almost feel as if they can marry so well together. And that's definitely what's happened here. And if you happen to have these two, I would really encourage you to get it off the shelf and put them together and see what you get. And I think you'll get some beautiful pairings there. So that was the Spirit Animal Oracle, and the Muse Tarot. So we're still kind of like, you know, we're going from now spring towards really into summer. And I want to show some decks that were more kind of like cottage decks. I do this this hand motion because that's the best way I can put it. These are cottage decks, like decks that I envision have that kind of feeling, that going into like a mansion out in the countryside. That's what we have more in the UK, right? And then cottages. So let me show you some of these, which is the Coastal Curiosities and Woodland Wardens and the Foragers Daughter Tarot. Really, I really love all of these three energies. There's something to them that just speaks of that beautiful, hazy, you know, we're now coming into that feeling where really I'm going to put the tarot in the middle here for a second. We really are coming into this energy of where the heat is starting to warm up. All the flowers have come out. They're blooming. It's really kind of like that summer energy now. That's how I feel with these decks, including the Woodland Wardens. A lot of people put that into autumn, but I really like it in the summer. There's something about this that reminds me of like Victorian / Edwardian houses and wallpaper. I know it sounds really weird, but it does. So let's put these all of these together and see what you get. And just look how beautiful that is, right? Just, yeah, I just really, really love these together. There's a pairing here that's happening that just is sublime, absolutely sublime. And really just, I had a lot of fun myself at night playing with these decks, just seeing what kind of messages come up when I shuffle them through and I bring them out. It's just so beautiful here. So let me go forward a little bit more so you get a feeling with the minors. Here's Ace of Cups, and here's Patience and Bobcat and Loyalty. Let's just go a little bit further. Six of Cups, and what do we get here? Peace. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Don't know what that is. That's my messed up. Oh, they're the wrong way around now. Hold on a second. I'll just put them the right way around. There we go. And Flourish. Look how beautiful that looks together. And let's just do one more if I can. Trying to balance all of this. Eight of Swords. Interesting. Okay. And what do I get here with Eight of Swords? I get Safety. Wow. And here I get Cycle. Yeah, so you can see here that the energy somehow, there's messages going on. And of course, you don't have to use all of these decks together. You can mix and match your pairings. You can do Oracle and Oracle together. You can do Tarot and Oracle, however you feel. But I just really enjoyed having fun with this. And this is really, for me, like when it gets to about, I would say May, that's when I start to have that kind of fun, you know. And it's the evening. It's like 10 o'clock in the evening, and I get these decks out, and I just want to have a bit of fun. And we're going towards those warmer months and those warmer periods of time. So there's more light and there's more twilight. Here we get light and twilight until about once we get into summer, it's light until about 10:30 at night in the sky. You can still see light in the sky. So 10:30 towards 11. So yeah. Another deck that for me is very summery is the Slavic Legends Tarot. I use this more in the background rather than showing it. So this is a fantastic summer deck. There's something about this that's just, you know, again, it's like, I think I was joking with it on another video. It's like that cold woods. It's kind of like, you know, it's where it's so wooded. It's cold, actually. It's not that warm. And that's what this reminds me of. It's cold woods, and I love it. It's just so beautiful. The rivers are still flowing, you know, so we still have that summer energy. But there's a dampness in this deck that I really, really like. I really relate to. I love the flow of colors. I love the way the imagery has been done. I love the ornateness in this. It's very, very ornate. And the detail. So yeah, I love using this deck in the summer months. It has that beautiful summery vibe for me. And that's the Slavic Legends Tarot. So yeah, I do have 2 Slavic decks in here. That's wonderful. I love that energy. And there we go. So where are we on here? Just give me a moment while I look through the list, because this is a massive list. I've gone through all of those. Right, so we are still now in summer. And finally, as part of my summer wrap up, well, not summer, sorry, we've still got a lot more now. We now have decks that was using the background to kind of like now you do my Oracle week ahead. And this I loved, the Spacious Tarot with Earth Magic Oracle cards by Steve D. Farmer. And you might think, what, really? Like these two go together? They just do. Just watch the magic. And the reason why I paired these originally, to be very honest, was, again, it was a bit like the Muse Tarot with the Spirit Animal Oracle. I wanted to do week ahead readings for myself, and I refused to buy new decks. I was like, I'm not doing that. So I kind of like went into my shelf, and I used this throughout the whole of summer. So when I say I use this for the week ahead, that means that all 12 weeks of summer, I pull cards from here for the week ahead. There's no other deck basically. And so it gives me a lot of chance to really just work with the messages over a week. That's the thing. The main card is actually the Oracle. So let's say if I picked Emergence and I picked Dragonfly for the week ahead, and I had Explorer of Swords, which I understand in this deck is the King of Swords. You know, it really is about me taking a leap of faith and getting out of my comfort zone. That's what, for me, what that's about. Or if I had Rebirth and the Spring Equinox and I had the Three of Swords, it really be, for me, a really strong message around, you know, having to just admit that some things are going to have to fall away. Let's pick another one. You know, Release and the Fool, or, you know, Karma and DNA, and DNA and the Four of Pentacles. That's really about monetary, family issues for me, and inheritance and all of those aspects, and perhaps also my own kind of like, you know, assets and so forth. So that's what I would have for the week ahead. And here's Explorer of Cups. How beautiful. King of Cups, and it comes up with love and compassion, you know. So I really, really loved working with doing these week ahead readings for myself. It's very, very grounding, because I'd put this up on my altar, and then, you know, this is really the underlying energy of the week for me. This is really the core part. And sometimes it plays with the daily readings, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the daily readings are not as, you know, pertinent, and that's quite normal for me personally. I find it's like the weekly readings where I get a lot, and then the daily readings kind of like just punctuate it every now and then with messages. But yeah, I would really like to work, sorry, just move that. I really like to work with these two again in the future, that's for sure. Because I got some great messages. The Spacious Tarot is definitely coming out again this year, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm just going to move these a few off the desk. Just give me a moment. And now I'm back for the rest of the summer readings, because there's definitely more. Okay, so here comes one of the biggest summer decks that I used this year, which is Keeper of the Sacred Bee Tarot by Kelly Burton. This is, of course, the RWS. She also has Journey of a Sacred Bee, which is more Thoth based. These are the gilding. And I wanted to show this deck and its pairings, because I loved working with this deck. I just loved working with it. It was just awesome. And here comes Oracle of the Seven Energies. I showed this pairing on Insta, and I have to say, this pairing had huge hits. It was like I would look at like the number of likes, and I'd be like, it was like fireworks. These two just worked so well together. Here says Six of Wands Victory, and here says Feeling the World. They just worked beautifully together. The synchronicity, you know, this just tells me great big love. And Two of Pentacles, it's like you can handle it. It's okay, you can handle this. You know, Seven of Swords and Call of the Muse. It's just beautiful, beautiful pairings. The colors are just divine. And yeah, here it says Hanged Man. It says A Deep Breath. So I'm going to stop there with that pairing, and then show you another pairing that I did with Keeper of the Sacred Bee, because this deck was just divine for me to work with. So Oracle of the Seven Energies is by Colette Baron Reid and also Jenna Della Crotaglia. So another pairing I did with it is with the Mystic Sisters Oracle deck by Emily Balivay. This is a US Games Oracle. Loved this pairing. Watch this. Hecate and Four of Swords. Wow. Look at the colors and the way that they just synchronize. Ceres and the Fool. So this is very, very Lammas energy, and this is new beginnings. Eight of Cups and Sisterhood of the Silk Road. Well, he's off on a journey. And here's Lunar Moth Goddess, and here's King of Pentacles. There's something about the way that they just visually synchronize. And then it's for me on this deck, particularly the Mystic Sisters deck, it's about digging into the guidebook, which is very succinct. It's only a paragraph per card, which is great. This is the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, and of course here it's 10 of Wands. And here's the Red Queen, here's the Devil. So I'll stop there on those two, but just beautiful synchronized messages, and the way that they look together, divine, and really enjoyed that. And you know, the Mystic Sisters Oracle was actually on my purgatory list. It was in my purgatory box. I wasn't sure what it would work with, and then I randomly pulled it out to use with Keeper of the Sacred Bee Tarot, and it was perfect. And by the way, I also have Keeper of the Sacred Bee, the Sacred Bee Oracle. I think it's called Wisdom of the Sacred Bee or something. I actually have that deck, but for me, it's really good for me to break ground and pair it with other stuff, you know, not just with the same thing. So we're still in summer, and I think this is the last pairing of summer, and that is going to be Ocean Arcana, the Ocean Tarot. I use this in the summer as well. This is by Taylor Bryan Art. It's an indie deck. And okay, I'm going to show the pairings with this deck because they were just, this has got to be the most hilarious, fun pairings I've ever done. Just to know, I thought in my head, oh, I've got an Ocean Tarot. I need to buy an Ocean Oracle. And I said to myself, no, you're not doing that. Now, I don't have that many ocean watery decks because I'm petrified of the ocean, to be quite honest with you. But this is the irony. Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is my favorite, one of my favorite books. Also, Journey to the Center of the Earth. But I mean, 20,000 Leagues, Captain Nemo, you say Captain Nemo, I'm there. Like, I'm there. And I remember even being a kid. And then, I mean, I didn't even know when I first read the book. I think I was like 9 when I first read the book, that Jules Verne is French. And then I learned he was French. And it was like, maybe you might want to learn some French. It was like, okay. But, you know, that's the beauty of literature for me. It's always opened up worlds. That's how it works, right? Language opens up worlds. So I'm babbling on. Here it is with Herbal Astrology pairing. I mean, right, you've got this cosmic plant deck paired with an ocean deck. How weird and funny is this going to be? But it is, and it's great. It's just so good. Action and night. Like, sorry, but I just love these images. Okay, Emperor and Joy and Hibiscus. Oh, the Moon and Completion. Knight of Wands and Teacher. Oh, just... And here comes 6 of Wands, and here comes Destiny. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, but you can just see how fantastic that is. Herbal Astrology, Oracle Guide Deck and Guidebook by Adriana Aiellis. I've heard that this author and creator is actually herself a well-known essential oils and perfumes expert. The artwork is by Josephine Clerks. So another pairing that I did, which was hilarious, well, not hilarious actually, but it was just interesting to watch and see, is now I'm going to have to put it to the side. Hold on a second while I do this. And that is, of course, Illuminated Earth Oracle and Faceted Garden. Watch how these two pair with that ocean deck. It's going to be so good to put them together. And then you're going to be like, okay, it somehow works, because I was so keen to not go out and buy something. I was like, you're going to use something from the shelves. Now, I'd bought these decks in 2021. I only started using them this year, but magic. So I've got Responsibility and the Sun. Let's move this out. I've got the High Priestess. Wow. Okay. Go forward a bit more. Tempest and Scarecrow with the 9 of Cups. Interesting. And here I've got Patience, the 7 of Swords, and Thor. Wow. Wow. Just, there's a lot going on there. And then finally, let's do one more. Gifts, Wheel of Fortune, and Cactus. Interesting stuff here, right? Just really, really good. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing these pairings. You get a little leaflet to use for that. That's the Illuminated Earth one. This is Faceted Garden. So yeah, you get a little leaflet for meanings for each of the Oracle decks, which is great. You get a little booklet for the Ocean Arcanum, but it is RW based, so it's not that difficult to figure out, to be quite honest. And I just really loved working with these decks together. It was just beautiful. Claire Mac decks are just, I don't know how she does it, but they just work so well with other decks. I love that. I love it when decks marry and work with other decks very, very succinctly. I just want to make sure that these are in the right place. Yep. And yeah, there we go. So we can put that away now. But yeah, I just really, really love how the Claire Mac decks just work so well. And I'm going to be working with Claire Mac's Rain Shadow in 2024. That's already planned. So watch out if you want to see a review of that or hear how I've worked with that deck, because I'm definitely going to be yeah, working with it. I just want to put all of this away. So right, so that was the Illuminated Earth Oracle with the Faceted Garden and Earth Oracle. I forgot, by the way, I've got to get this out again for a second. There's another pairing I completely forgot. See, this deck was so good. Let me just quickly show you this one. Sufi Wisdom by Rasuli. Exactly. They worked like a charm. This was so good. I'm going to be very quick with this. Look at this. Oh, just beautiful, beautiful pairings. Sorry. Ending a trauma. Judgment. Wow. Okay. Imagination and the Two of Cups. Two of Pentacles, sorry. And here comes the Three of Swords, and here's work of art. Be the portrait of divine beauty. Wonder how that is. But you just look how they look with each other as well. It's just beautiful. And here's the Ten of Pentacles, and here's silencing the mind. Simple pleasures, and the Seven of Pentacles. So they worked so, so well together. Of course, have to really sit with those meanings, but there was something very, very beautiful when I put the art together. And I think you can pair the Ocean Arcana with any other Rasuli deck, and you'll just have just as a beautiful experience. You know, it doesn't have to be Sufi Wisdom. It could also be the Rumi deck or the Great Eastern Oracle, or there's a new deck. I think there's the Journey of something, the Journey Oracle that's been released by Rasuli, the latest one, something like that. So you've got a lot here to work with. And see, this is when I'm rushing and I'm trying to put things back, and it just ends up being a mess. So let me just do that carefully so I don't mess up the cards. And that was the Ocean Arcana by Taylor Bryan. Okay, so there we go, straightened out. Right, we're into autumn. Yoo-hoo! And we're near the end then, that means. Okay, so one more summer deck. I'll be quick. Forhaxa and Sacred Creators Oracle. Let me just quickly show this. Another Chris Ann deck. The Oracle, of course, Forhaxa by MJ Cullinane. And look at the beauty of these two pairs together. Absolutely divine. The messages, Four of Water, Fierce Serenity. The colors, Three of Fire, Soul on Fire. The colors, the messages, the little bits of artwork, Rise and the Chariot. I'm not going to say much more. I mean, I think I'll just stop there because you get the message. That is beautiful. That is absolutely stunning. Celebrate your wins. Three of Water. I mean, like it's almost as if like these two decks come together, and it's almost like they've already had a chat on the side about how they can work together. Every time I pull them out, I'm like, really? Again, you're working together so well? That's how it feels with the Forhaxa and the Sacred Creators Oracle. Just loved it. Sorry, I kind of like get a bit emotional because when you think about how much, you know, we buy things, and then when things work so beautifully together and they just say, we're here for you at any time. That's what these decks are for me. They're like, we're here for you. Anytime you need us, just pull us out and we will give you what you need to hear, and it's just like perfect. Okay, so yeah, we're definitely into autumn now. Okay, so we're looking at decks now that I've used from about September, yeah, well, September onwards. These are decks that these are decks that basically, yeah, I used as I was coming into that period of, you know, when we're just getting it's getting darker. Triple Goddess Tarot. I bought this in the summer and I loved it from about Lammas all the way into Mabon. Loved, loved, loved this deck. It's just such a simple deck. Such a simple deck. Easy, easy reader, easy writer, easy reader. It's just so easy. Very simple, low scarabeo deck by Jamie Elford and artwork by Franco Rivoli, I think it is. Yeah, just a simple low scarabeo deck. Loved it. I wanted to show it because I did use it. So there you go. That's the Triple Goddess Tarot. I always believe have a little Llewellyn deck on the side, and anytime you need a simple reading, it's there for you if you want it. Okay. So we are into autumn. Let's show these two together because they worked beautifully together. And so we are looking at the Crow Tarot. Finally did this as a review. This by MJ Cullinan. This is the mass market version by US Games. And so yes, I used this going into autumn, going towards Mabon. And look at this with Seasons of the Witch Mabon Oracle. I think there was a comment on my Instagram by the creators. So the creator is Lauren Anderson, Juliet Diaz, artwork by Tiana Lukovic. I think it was Lauren Anderson who, on my Insta page, I just mentioned, there was a kind of like a back and forth on comments that all of these Seasons of the Witch decks go beautifully with a MJ Cullinan deck. It's just something about the artwork and the flow of energy. Just, they sync like butter. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, it goes very, very well also with the Forhaxa. Also, if I'm sure if you have the Grimolkan or anything else, they will just flow as if like a river, you know, that's the best way I can put it. Melt like butter, whatever all those sayings are. They just go so, so well together. So, you know, here we have the Hanged Man, here a Scarecrow. Remember that you are not alone. Here's the World card, here's Third. Observe for those who watch, see all. And here's Ace of Cups and here's Wool. You are woven with an embrace, protected, loved, and the familiarity of being home. How beautiful. So that was the Mabon Seasons of the Witch Oracle. Definitely one of my favorites of this year. And if you haven't got it already and you're interested in that kind of artwork and that style, of course, it is very much, you know, more of that Wiccan style. Wheel of the Year, I would definitely recommend it. And like I mentioned, all of the Juliet Diaz, Lauren Anderson decks and their artwork goes so, so well with MJ Cullinan stuff. So very easy pairings there. I also used, very briefly, I'll show you, is the Urban Crow Oracle. I used that with the Crow Tarot, but I used it on its own as well. But let me just show you with the Crow Tarot. Just put that away. But I mean, you know, these are easy pairings, but again, they work so well together. I have to show you them because, I mean, of course, they're the same creators. So they are going to work well together. But there's something about this that just was so good. Dominance and the Knight of Wands. Strength and warning. Yeah, it's just so, so beautiful. Ace of Swords and protection. So I just wanted to briefly show it because it was part of the pairings that I was doing. But again, MJ Cullinan's Urban Crow Oracle, I have to say, has got to be one of the most versatile autumn decks ever. Again, like the Mabon Oracle by the other creators, you know, and that's a Rockpool Publishing deck. And, you know, these decks are so easy to use in the autumn period. They're great if you're a beginner, especially, and even if you're well versed, they're just easy. So let's put these put away. Okay, so this was another review I did. Finally, I did an official review of the Hush Tarot by Jeremy Hush, and the pairings were with the unicorns and night fairies. So this is the Powell Bearberry decks, the rest of them that I used this year. I love, love, love these decks. And they really brought out the Hush. The Hush came out of its shell this year, finally. She came out of her shell in a way that I didn't expect. I thought that the Powell Bearberry oracles really worked well with this deck. Let me just see. Oh, there it is. There's the oracle for the unicorns. So there we go. So that's the unicorns, and that was the star dragons. Okay, there we go. So I just moved everything out of the way. So you'll see here how beautifully they all synchronize. Now, I didn't do it like this. I actually just used a tarot with an oracle, but I just, for the sake of brevity, I'm going to show it to you like this. I think, again, the artwork goes so beautifully well together. They marry each other just so, so well. Vulnerability, Page of Cups, transformation. The guidebooks are very succinct for these oracles. So again, you're just looking at about a paragraph, but sometimes that's more than enough. You know, you don't need to be reading a whole textbook every day, right? I know I don't. Sometimes I want to keep it brief. Here's Omen, here comes the Magician, here comes Fae of Wonder. Really well done. Here's Beauty, the Hermit, and Release. So I'll stop there, but you can see how beautifully these all go together. And I would never expected, right, a fantasy art decks like the Night Fairies and the Unicorns deck would go with something like the Hush Tarot, which is, you know, a different form of artwork, completely different here. And yet they did. And I think that's beautiful to see when we do that and we put them together and we have that harmony. Okay, trying to move on here quickly as fast as I can. So another winter pairing. Well, sorry, autumn pairing. Are we still in autumn? Yeah, we're kind of in autumn. We're going to, well, we're going towards solstice now. That's the best way I can put it. So the next ones that I want to show you is going to be these two decks that I was working with in the background. Remember I say sometimes I work with decks in the background? Wisdom of the Shadow and Wisdom of Divine Feminine. These are also good in the summer. This was like summer and autumn, basically. These are great decks if you are pulling a card for someone or used as part of a reading for someone. Just so good. You know when you need an oracle as a clarifier? They're just so, so good for that. I really like them because the artwork and the keywords are just like, boom, they're in your face. It doesn't really need much of an explanation. And the guidebooks are great. These are by Jenny Han and Jessica Ricchetti. Yes, I got the names right. And just so, so simple and straightforward. So I really, really liked working with these. I haven't shown them as a pairing with another deck. I think I'll do that another time, perhaps. But they just work so well together that I had to show them because these decks don't get enough. I don't think they get enough coverage these days. When they were first released, a lot of people talked about them. And I think that we need to just bring them out. I know I need to bring them out again. But they really were very good in the summer and in autumn. Really enjoyed that artwork. And I know people that I showed the guidebook and the cards to really enjoyed it too. Okay, so we really are now deep into autumn. We're moving towards the end of the year. This was part of a study I was doing in the background. So I'm just going to quickly show you them. So I was doing a study and I was using the Thoth Tarot. I won't go into it so much, but I just want to say that I've been really impressed by other people's study of the Thoth as well. Recently, I came across somebody who, you know, we were going through each card a day at a time, not just Thoth, other decks too. But this person would go away and study some of the aspects of the symbols, but the colors, and then they would marry them with their own understanding of their culture. And this person has more of a background knowledge in Native American culture, the First Nations culture. And I thought that was fascinating how they then interpreted the card through that lens, marrying it also with Thoth, actual Thoth understanding of that card, you know, just not just a tarot card, but more Crowley's words and so forth. fascinated by the research that they did and how they did it. They're still doing it. And I just want to say that this has been a really interesting part of my studies. I'm still continuing them. So I've been looking at Thoth more from the aspect of symbols and the historical aspects of the symbols. I won't go more into it, but that gives you an idea. So that was a deck that I was working with. Another one that I was working with this autumn, and also part of the symbols, is the Wild Unknown Pocket Tarot, just by Kim Kranz. This was more just me working with it in the background and getting to know this deck. It's been a very interesting experience. I'm going to hold them up because they're so small. It's been a very interesting experience. Really, this deck now, I now understand it comes to life in the winter, autumn and winter for me. It's not really a summer deck for me, and I think that I really have to appreciate it from a different angle. But I've been really, really enjoying the cards and getting into the energy of the Wild Unknown by Kim Kranz. And that was the pocket edition that I'm still using. I still haven't gone and bought the full life-size, large version yet, the standard version. And then finally, as part of a study I'm doing, and this has gone off for review, is Tarot of the Spirit by Pamela and Joyce Eakins. Also, I have been working with the book Kabbalah and Tarot of the Spirit. That review will be going up on the channel, so you can watch that separately. I won't go into it too much here. Just loved working with this deck. I studied each card. I studied the symbol on each card. I studied its aspect in Kabbalah. I studied how we're moving through the Tree of Life. I really, really enjoyed it. It's really an integral part of my own personal studies. And this is what I would call an anchor deck for myself, which means that I will be using this as part of my own anchoring in when I use Thoth decks, Thoth-based decks or Thoth-inspired decks. I will be using this as my anchoring in, not always the Thoth, and that's my choice. Really, really love this deck. This artwork, apparently, some of it is also in private view at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which I found out, I can't remember how I found out. Really, really wonderful. The actual artist is Joyce Eakins, who's the mother of Pamela Eakins, and Pamela Eakins is also part of its creation and also the author of the book Kabbalah and Tarot of the Spirit. But all of that is a separate study, and the review is up on my channel. It will either be posted just before or after I post this video as well. And sorry, I just want to make sure that I don't clip that. You know, the joys of the boxes where there's a bit at the bottom and it clips it. Anyway, so that's that deck. So still keep going now as fast as I can, which is the final part of my study. Was, of course, for the Drop Hem 78 challenge, was the Illustrated Fox Tarot by Taylor Hay, and I coupled that with Kim Kranz's The Wild Unknown Archetypes Oracle deck. Really mammoth study that I've done there. I will link all of that as well to this video, so you can go and check it out for yourself if you're interested. This was an unbelievable pairing. This is actually in sync with how I paired. So I took the Wild Unknown Archetypes Oracle, and I took each of the keys and myself allocated it to 78 keys of the tarot, because there's 78 oracle cards in here. So that's why you see the Self and you see the Fool, basically. And then, you know, if you keep going, the Shaman is I've allocated to the Magician. That was myself just doing it. High Priestess is the Womb. That's more the Kabbalah aspect, as now you understand. The Empress is the Queen. And then, of course, we have the King as the Emperor. And then we have the Mentor as the Hierophant. So you get the message how I've done it. But the full pairing of this deck, and I've used the RWS to show it because I think that will make more sense, it will also be posted on my channel. So if you want to take the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck and make it into a tarot deck, that's also possible for you. And I've just given you my key allocations as a suggestion if it might be of interest. Okay, so keep going, and I will show you a couple of more pairings. We're near the end. Hopefully you're still with me. So here's Dark Days Tarot, a deck that I was using in the background. Absolutely loved this deck. The whole of autumn I've used this, and I'm still kind of like dipping into it. I really just love this deck so much. I just think that the art is phenomenal. I think that the messages are so clear. I've had some profound readings with this deck. This was the deck where my stalker card is the Page of Swords this year, and this was the deck that when I finally pulled the Page of Swords, I went and was doing research on that particular card, and that's what led me to the whole unraveling of what was going on. Basically, everything started to make sense. I did a lot of research, and it was just like, okay, I can see, and because the theme was so strong, and the Page of Swords has been coming up since the winter of 2023, and so it's coming up throughout the whole year, that card. I just want to show you a quick pairing of the Dark Days Tarot with the Stunning Tarot, because I think you might like that. And I came across this pairing in the last few weeks, and I just thought it was so fascinating. I thought, I wonder if they do work together. So this is the Stunning Tarot. I can't remember which edition. This is the Pocket Edition. Death. Oh, wow, look at that. So that's the Three of Cups, and here's the Four of Cups. Quite funny, actually. The Tower and the Warrior of Coins. Okay. And here's the Knight of Cups, and here's the Ten of Wands. I really like this. Two very different energies, but still there's something there. I think it's that pocket size. Ace of Wands and the Eight of Swords. Yeah, I want to play with these a bit more, but I thought I'd show this on camera because I came across this and I thought, I wonder if there's something here with these two decks. So if you happen to have the Stunning Tarot by Yonasa Yaus, or even I think it's the Yonasa Yaus Tarot, the one that's more Marseille style, and you have the Dark Days Tarot, maybe you want to give that a try. Look at that silver edging. So beautiful. Love, love, love this deck. I'm so glad I bought it. I didn't know anyone who had it. I just took a chance and I just thought it was fantastic. Okay, and that's by Ren Makoto Brignac and Emily Mundy, and the Stunning Tarot is by Yonasa Yaus. Okay, and the very final pairing, I think this is it. We're at the end. And now I'm looking around thinking, but where is the pairing? Because I can't see it anywhere on my hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it, because I think it's gone walkabouts. Yeah, it's gone a little bit walkabouts right at the end. I've got, oh, here it is. It's right at the back, hidden. I'll be as brief as I can. Dark Mansion Tarot. I know you're thinking, what? Okay. Fantastic for winter energy. Seasons of the Witch, Yule Oracle. Watch how this just goes beautifully together. Beautifully. Look at that. Nine of Swords and Mother Mary. I've been using this in the background again for my week ahead readings this autumn, going up to the winter solstice, Hanged Man and Silent Night. There's something about this which I just really, really like. I just really enjoyed it. Nine of Pentacles and Tranquility. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Temperance and Cardinal Medicine. Yeah, I find it a beautiful pairing. And I think that the Dark Mansion Tarot is not just a Halloween deck. It's more of a wintry deck for me anyway. So they just worked so beautifully together. Here's Ace of Swords and here's Falling in Love. Here's King of Swords and here's Family. So you know what? As we're just having passed the solstice, and we're right here, right at the end, where we're all in celebratory mode. I'm going to stop here. I think these are beautiful cards to stop on. And just say thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is quite a long video, so I'm going to chapter it, obviously. But hope you've enjoyed this. This is my 2023 rundown. So it's been good for me to see also and reflect a little bit. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you in 2024. I wish you all a wonderful week, wherever you're doing. If you're on your own, just know that that there's a lot of love and compassion in this world. Don't feel like you have to struggle through things on your own. I understand how that can be really, really challenging. So just know that that there's always help available. Thank you everyone again, and have a wonderful week wherever you are.